Hello everyone, welcome back to another tutorial. My name is Chris, I'm a mechanic here at Utah Trikes. Today we're going to show you how to properly mount our Utah Trikes adjustable cargo rack onto a cat trike. But you can put it on any other model, it just may take a little bit more adapting. Today I have the adjustable cargo rack kit laid out with all of its pieces. It costs about $85, not including shipping, on our website. In this kit you'll have one rack, two sets of front stays, two small lower rack stays, a bungee cord, two hooks for the bungee cord, and two 5mm bolts with washers specific for those hooks. Two clamps for cat trike models specifically, a front mount for an EcoTat if you have one, and various hardware to fit different models. You may need to supply additional hardware if you are mounting this rack to a more specific trike. Everything in this kit will work for a cat trike. Before we start, these are the basic steps we will follow. Let's get to it. The tools we'll need today are a 4mm and a 5mm Allen key, a wrench, and a Phillips screwdriver. To pre-assemble the rack, lay it on its side and use the lower stays to set the height. The largest size wheel this rack can fit is a 26 by 4 inch wheel. For models such as the Fat Tad Crawler or the Fat Cat V3. For demonstration, we will set it in the middle of the stay. Add the bungee hook and line it up. The opening of the hook should be facing upwards for the bungee to clip on later. Line up all the holes and screw down the 5mm bolt with the washer attached. Make sure it is tightened down. Repeat this process on the other side of the rack. Please remember to attach the stay at the same height as the other one. You can be sure by counting the holes to make sure they match. To bolt the rack, we need to use one of two locations. Cat Trike has two bolt holes for accessories on their rear fork. As a tip, it will be easier to use the bolt hole closest to the frame rather than the other, simply because Cat Trike also uses the second hole for their flag mount. But it is up to you and however you like your accessories configured. If you have a fender, both holes will be used to secure it. We can attach a rack on top of that. First we will remove the fender bolts and washers from the front hole on both sides of the trike. You will need a 4mm Allen key to do this. Also be aware that the fender bolt may be too small to attach the rack and the fender. If so, you will want to use one of the longer bolts in the kit. Also note that the rack shape is a triangle with a longer side. That longer side needs to point away from the trike when installed. You can also see that there is a small hole on top of the rack. This hole should be furthest from the frame to ensure your rack is installed correctly. As soon as we have the right placement, we can attach the rack to the trike using the longer bolts with washers. Place the bolt through the rack and the fender mount. Then screw into the frame hand tight until we attach the other side. On the opposite side, you may have to bend the rack to allow it to match up with the bolt hole. These racks are made to fit on most trikes with a little tweaking. As you have it mounted, the rack will swing until both bolts are tightened down. Take a moment to look at the height of your rack. Typically we install them as close to your wheel as possible, just as a preference. The height will depend on the type of pannier bags or trunk bags you are planning to use. After you reach the desired height, level your rack and tighten it down with the 4mm Allen key. This will keep it in place long enough to apply the clamps. Now we need to apply the clamps to the rear fork. The kit comes with reflective clamps for the cat trikes. Other kits may have or need different hardware. These clamps will need to be adapted slightly. With a Phillips screwdriver, remove the flat piece of the clamp and toss it. You will not need it. Take note of the nut inside the clamp. Make sure to keep it with the bolt, as you will need both later. It helps to put the bolt back into the clamp to keep it together. Next, remove the second bolt holding the round clamp in place. Open the clamp a bit, slide it over the trike frame with the tail pointing up to the rack. You can attach the clamp wherever you'd like. We usually install it in front of the Cat Trike logo sticker to keep the sticker intact. It also provides a good place for the length of the stays. Tighten the clamp bolt with the Phillips screwdriver until it is snug but not too tight. This will allow you to move it if necessary to fit the stays. Now we attach the stays. The kit comes with 2 lengths. Depending on the trike, you can use the shorter or longer one. If you need them even longer, you can combine both sets by drilling an additional hole and bolting them together. To measure the length properly, we are going from the bolt hole in the clamp tail to the rack slot. To offer further support, it is best to mount the stays under the rack and in front of the clamp. Depending on your trike, you can use either slot in the rack. Unscrew the bolt in the clamp and bolt and place a 5mm washer through the stay. Place the stay behind the rack, then grab the 6mm bolt, a washer, and nut. Apply the big washer to the bolt. Place through the slot and the stay, then screw the nut on the back. Finally, take your wrench and your 5mm Allen key and tighten the rack to the stay. Go through all the bolts and tighten them down, such as the clamp and the front of the stay. The last step is to attach the bungee. Clip the hook facing inwards towards the trike. Wrap around the top of the rack and down to meet the other bungee hook. And you're good to go. I hope this video has helped you install your rack. It's perfect for storage. If you have any further questions, please call or email us. If you do need bags, we have plenty of them. We got pannier bags, trunk bags. You can browse our link below. In the meantime, relax, spin fast, and ride trikes. Thanks.
Go ahead. So wrong way. Oh gosh, it's so hard. Infomercial hard. Take it off. Let's flip it. Put it on the right way. Yes, so easy. I got that.
give the trike a little whip.
Hold on over there. Hard to see. Stand up for like a half a second, Chris. Never mind. It's not gonna work.
Your head just cut off.
You're just too tall. You're just way too tall.